Now let's preview next week, the week of January 9th to January 13th. So we do have one notable event on Monday. That's the Chinese CPI. Let's see if global inflation is rising. This will be watched for the global impact, not only for the impact on the Australian dollar. In China, we had a long period of deflation, PPI, and also CPI was weak. Now we're seeing things moving to the top side. On Tuesday, for those of you trading the Australian dollar, we have the jobs report for the month of December. In January, we do not have an RBA decision. Australia is on vacation during the summer month of January in the southern hemisphere, so jobs report might have a bigger impact. And to complete the picture, the United States from the NFP, we have also Tuesday the jobs report. It has had less impact in 2015 in comparison to 2014, but still worth watching. On Wednesday, we have the UK manufacturing production. Let's see if the low exchange rate of the pound truly helps manufacturing in the UK. There are doubts about that. And as usual, we have oil inventories. Thursday, US jobless claims, as usual every week, and also import prices. This means inflation, but import prices are impacted, of course, by the exchange rate. So if import prices are falling due to the strong dollar, this could push rate hikes back. Again, it's not a first-year figure, but it's still worth noting. We do have key figures on Friday, so the week culminates like this week. On Friday, we have the Chinese trade balance. The bottom line figure, the actual trade surplus that China will produce, is less important than the top figures, the imports and exports. More exports, more imports, good for the global economy. Falling imports and exports, bad for the global economy. And then we do have really top-tier figures of focus on the US consumer. We have retail sales for the month of December. Let's see if Americans did some crazy Christmas shopping, New Year's shopping, or that it was more moderate, more spread out on other months, so Black Friday and things like that. And the PPI, a measure of inflation, a warm-up for the CPI at the same time. And consumer confidence from the University of Michigan, the preliminary number for the month of January. Let's see if it rises like the CB consumer confidence that we've seen recently. In theory, higher consumer confidence implies higher retail sales. In practice, the correlation is not that strong. Okay, but consumer confidence has been rising. Donald Trump did take credit for rising consumer confidence. Okay, so that's the events for next week. We have quite a busy week. Well, not as busy as this one, but we have at least a strong finish to next week. Another thing I would note about next week is that we're getting closer to the inauguration of Donald Trump. Okay, so in general, we're going to see more impact from political headlines. More, if we see, talk about, I mean, we already had yesterday, the new Congress began its work, the 115th, if I'm not mistaken. And we might hear more statements from politicians about what they actually intend to do. Many of them are political and shouldn't have an impact on currencies. I mean, all kinds of legislation and things like that. But some of them, of course, talk about the fiscal stimulus. So if Trump really wants to hit the ground running, if he wants to do something on day one, we already have a new Congress in play, and they can begin preparing all this, right? So we might hear more headlines about that also this week, but also next week. Again, Trump will be fully judged, let's say, the first 100 days, but also the first day in office, the second day are very important for two reasons. First of all, he said that he's going to do many things on day one, and many presidents indeed did quite a few things on day one in office. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Remember, in 2016, and my forecast for 2017 is that we'll have more impact from politics on markets than we had in the past. They will not, well, they'll begin even overshadowing central banks. Okay. So that's the preview for next week, and